Hey everyone, Michael Unger here at the H.R. MacMillan Space Centre on the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh with another edition of Ask an Astronomer, a special one. And as always, we have our trusted astronomer, Marley. Hey Marley, how's it going?
Hi, Michael. It's good. I'm glad the sun is back for however long it chooses to be back. I'm glad it's out.
Yes, temporarily we are celebrating the sun, but today's edition of Ask Astronomer, we are going to be talking about the moon. We are getting close to Lunar New Year. A few weeks ago, Marley, you and I celebrated perihelion, which is the astronomer's New Year. But as we talked about, many cultures celebrate different times of New Year. And coming up, we have the Chinese New Year, and many other cultures around the world celebrate New Year around this time. So we have brought in a special guest from our neighbors at the Dr. Yat-Sen Gardens, and we have cultural specialist Lillian Li with us for this show. Hi, Lillian. Thanks for coming on the show.
Michael, my pleasure.
So Lillian, I was visiting you folks in September for the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival. I brought a telescope. We looked at Jupiter and Saturn. I know that the moon is very significant for you folks, not just at the gardens there, but for Chinese peoples as well. What is so special about the moon in Chinese culture?
Yes, moon is very, very special for us. In Chinese culture, people adore moon. And, the moon actually presents beauty, brightness, and also it conveys feelings of people. And, we got a moon goddess called Chang'e. And every phase of the month, the moon is very full. The round shape actually means wholeness and means family reunion. That's why we got the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival. That's a festival for family reunion. And also in history, we got a ton of poems and songs about moon. And also I found that there's a very popular song called Moon Represents My Heart. And I found people translated it into English. So I got the link, and you can share the link for people and to enjoy this beautiful song. Every Chinese can sing this song.
Okay, Moon Represents My Heart. We'll put a link into the chat. And for all of you folks that are here watching in YouTube, welcome. If you have any questions, we're going to start off talking about how we use the moon as a calendar. So Marley's going to start us off, and then Lillian's going to talk a little bit more about the cultural aspects of the Lunar New Year. So if you have any questions, please put them into the chat. So Marley, tell us, how do we use the moon to tell time?
So this whole idea of a lunar calendar that many different cultures follow, actually all around the world, really comes with understanding how the moon works. So what the lunar calendars are all based off of is what we see as the phases of the moon, those lunar phases. So the moon does not shine. It doesn't produce its own light. It reflects the light from the sun. It bounces off. And we always see the same side of the moon, right? That's a consequence of how the moon spins on its axis, but also orbits around us. So we always see the same side, but as it's moving around us in space, different amounts of it are illuminated at a given time. And so that is what we get with our phases. So what we're looking at here is the a diagram that shows the phases of the moon as we see them from Earth, but also what they look like the moon looks like as it's going around the sun. So I made the image a bit bigger and kind of kept only the inner image. And this is us looking at the Earth from the North Pole, looking down and looking at the Earth-Moon system. So on the very right, if I get my laser pointer, we have here this would be a new moon for us, right? So the sun is not able to illuminate, the side that faces us is not illuminated by the sun. And this is what we'd see as the new moon, or the lack of moon in a sky, is what it appears as. But as it moves around the Earth, as it orbits the Earth, we start to see different amounts of it illuminated. So with the Earth-Moon system and the sun system, the sun always illuminates half of Earth and half of the moon at any given time. It's the amount that we see illuminated that changes as the moon orbits around Earth. And this is a very predictable pattern. It continues as the moon goes around us, and it has a specific period associated with it. And this is what we would call a lunar month. But the lunar month, there's actually two lunar months. And so there is what we call a sidereal month, where it returns to the same position relative to fixed stars in the background. And that takes about 27 days. The synodic month, or a lunation, which is a very fancy word for this, is the time it takes to complete one cycle of phases. So for it to go from new moon to new moon. And this takes about 29 and a half days. And the difference in length is because the Earth is moving on its own path around the sun, and the Earth has to follow, the moon has to follow the Earth where it goes. And so if we measure the time it takes to do the sidereal month, that moves to the same position relative to the background stars, which are more or less fixed from our perspective, it takes like another 2.5 days to catch up the distance it's missed in matter of speaking. As the Earth moves, the moon needs to catch up, and that catching up takes about 2.5 days. And that's the phase synodic month that we see. So a solar year, which is what our calendar is based off of the solar days, is about 365 days, whereas a lunar year, if one lunation, which is looking at the phase of the moon, much more visible than measuring the moon based on a fixed position, it's only about 354 days. So that's a difference of 11 days, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. It's like a week and a bit, but after 33 years, that gives us a difference of 1 year between the lunar calendar and the solar calendar. And with this, some cultures will add leap days or months to bring the lunar calendar and the solar calendars into alignment. And so if you do all the math, which is like on the screen there, you don't have to do it. You end up getting, in a tropical year, there's 12 and a little more than a third lunar months in one tropical year. And so that leftover bit of the lunar months is larger than a third, but smaller than a half. And so this is what leads cultures to add a leap month every 2 or 3 years to keep everything in line with the seasons primarily on Earth. And, coming into that, we have lots of different things going on the moon. We have the actual Chang'e missions, like Lillian mentioned. Chang'e is the goddess of the moon in Chinese culture. And with them, these Chang'e 3 and Chang'e 4 brought Yutu, which was the little rover. And I believe that has a meaning as well, Yutu.
Yeah, Yutu actually in our culture literally means jade rabbit. And because Chang'e is the only one living in the moon palace, so she got a pet. Yutu, the rabbit, is her pet. And so she's the companion of Chang'e. So that's why we gave the name Yutu.
Yutu. Yeah, it's very cute because he very much is like the companion to the whole mission. Of course, the Chang'e missions also have, one of them I think also had an orbiter orbiting the moon. So it really is the companion, and it's on the moon itself. So I guess they sent her jade rabbit in a way of speaking.
We've been talking a little bit about some of the discoveries on the moon. We've been talking a lot about in the past month of Lunar Gateway and how China is there on the moon. What have been some of the latest discoveries from the Chang'e missions?
The Chang'e 3 mission actually touched down on a spot on the moon in the Northern Hemisphere back in 2013 in December. And it actually discovered a new type of rock, a new basalt rock. And it was different from the kinds found from the Apollo missions and also the Luna missions, which were done by the former USSR back in the 60s and 70s. A completely new type of lunar rock that we hadn't discovered yet was discovered during the Chang'e 3 mission. And then in the Chang'e 4 mission, we had an orbiter, a robotic lander, and of course the rover, U2. And it was a backup to Chang'e 3, so it had the same structure, but a different scientific payload. And the 4th mission actually landed on the far side of the moon and has been continuously doing has continued to do science there near the South Pole, which is a big area for a lot of frozen water and these permanently shadowed regions, which I think I talked about earlier in my time here. I was going to say the past year, but this year hasn't been very long. It's January. where these craters on the moon are permanently shadowed. So there's ice buildup in those craters. And so the South Pole's of particular interest there. There was actually a fifth mission, the Chang'e 5 mission, that didn't have a lander or didn't have a rover, but it did land on the moon in December 1st, 2020. And it collected like just under 2,000 grams of lunar samples and actually brought them back to Earth on December 16th of 2020. So those are kind of what's been happening with this particular mission and the discoveries they've made.
Awesome. And of course, the moon is not the only place that China has gone to. They've also gone to Mars as well, with another word that we use a lot here. And I'd love to hear Lillian's take on what Tianwen means, the latest mission to Mars.
Yeah, Tianwen, actually, that's a phrase. Literally means asking questions or questioning heaven or space. Tian means space or universe or heaven. And that means you are questioning the space because we think the space out there is unknown, it's so mysterious. And so we are sending out our mission and to explore more in the universe. So that's Tianwen.
Yeah, wonderful. I love this. And, I think one of the benefits of having so many different cultures and countries exploring space together and sharing knowledge, not only scientifically, but also culturally as well. I think like learning, even just like learning different phrases, helps us look at the universe in a different way. And that's why we're going to turn over the rest of the presentation to you, Lillian, to kind of talk about that culture aspect of what Lunar New Year means for Chinese people. And of course, you're wearing red. I wore my red shirt today as well. I know that the red is significant. So if you have any questions for Lillian about Lunar New Year, you can put them in there, or any questions underneath the universe. We'll save those to the end of the show that Marley can come in and ask any questions that you like before we hit our time. But Lillian, why don't you start sharing your screen and tell us a little bit about Lunar New Year, the year of the tiger.
Yeah, and the Chinese New Year is here.
There you go.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Chinese New Year, first of all, is the most important festival for us. And most people got 1 week or 2 week holidays. And the Chinese New Year, actually in China, we call it Spring Festival, because it's the beginning of spring, which is also the beginning of a new year. So in China, we call it Spring Festival. In Chinese, it's called the Chunjie. So that's Chinese New Year. And next year, that's the year of the tiger, which is a good year because we love tiger. And Chinese New Year, is based on lunar calendar, as Marley just mentioned. And it's quite different from the solar calendar. It's not start from the January 1st. The lunar calendar, the beginning falls in late January or early February. So this year, it starts from February the 1st and it ends January 21st next year, 2023.
Okay,
so that's the year of the tiger.
Year of the tiger. And what year are you born under?
Yeah, I was born in the dog, year of the dog.
Year of the dog, okay. Yeah. I think I'm the year of the snake. What about you, Marley?
I'm pretty sure I'm year of the ox.
Okay.
Oh, that means actually this year, we're still in the year of the ox. That's before tiger.
Yeah. Yay.
That's our 12 Chinese zodiac signs. It's a little bit different from Western zodiac because in Chinese zodiac, all of them are animals. So they're red, they're oaks, tigers, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. So that's 12 animals.
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting, Lillian, because I know that in traditional astronomy, we have the zodiac as well, and we have constellations where those zodiac signs, like Sagittarius and Scorpio, but that's different from these zodiac signs. So these signs that you're talking about, they're not related to any constellations in the sky.
No, there was it's not related to any constellation signs. It's just based on the ancient legend, actually. Yeah, there's nothing related to constellation.
Okay.
Yeah. And the coming year is the year of the tiger. So we really like the year of tigers. And if you are born in the year of, let's say, 1914, 26, 38, 40, 62, 74, 86, 98, or 2010, or 2022, then you are a tiger. You know, the British Queen, Elizabeth II, she was born in the year of tiger. So she's a tiger. She was born in, I think, 1926. And also Tom Cruise, he was born in, I think, in 62. So
love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, also I love his film. Yeah, so he is also a tiger. So if you were born in the years of tiger, that means you got some special characters of a tiger. So what is the character of tiger? First, we all think that tiger is a born leader, and they're very energetic, and they like to take challenges, and they love competition, and they hide their aggressiveness, and also they like to give orders to other people. So that's the strength of a tiger.
Okay, all right.
And also there's a weakness of a tiger, and probably they're very unpredictable. And also they sort of lack of team spirit. They like to be the boss. So that's the weakness of the tiger. And for the year of tiger, if you are a tiger, so for Chinese people, they like to go to some fortune tellers and to tell them what to do the next year. So different fortune tellers got some different thoughts about, what you should do the next year, what is good luck for you. And here I got a popular one. And that means if you are a tiger, so next year, your lucky number is 134. Your lucky colors are blue, gray, and orange. You've got lucky flowers, yellow lily, and the cinerina. And your lucky directions are north, south, and east. So that's for all the people who are born in the year of the tiger. You should, try to connect it with all those lucky numbers, colors, and the directions, and have the good luck of the year. And if next year is your year, that also means something is very significant gonna happen in your life. Probably very good or probably bad. You should really, really, pay attention, or you should really. So yeah, some people, they got really something big happen in their own year.
Okay, so what about the other cultural aspects of this year? What's I noticed that in Chinatown and even all around the world, people are wearing red, and it is really a celebration of a new year, but it does last longer than just one day. Tell us a little bit more about the cultural aspects of Lunar New Year.
Yes, Lunar New Year, actually we celebrate New Year actually even before the New Year. Actually 1 week ahead of the New Year, we already prepare the celebration. And the first thing, you should do a thorough clean up of your house, which means get rid of the old things, and then good things will come into your life. So you should do a good clean up of your place. And then decoration. So, we put a lot of red lanterns, and also we put the couplets, which you got 2 sentences, which carries really good blessings. And also you put some like Chinese calligraphy, mostly the word happiness on the door or on the wall. And also when you put this happiness, usually we put upside down, that's the T. because upside down in Chinese language means arrive. That means you put it upside down, your happiness arrives to you.
That's really interesting. Is that common in Chinese language? Like when you have the symbols, can you turn them around like that to sort of alter the meaning of them?
Yeah, because upside down, that means arrive. If you want something arrive, you can put it upside down. But mostly happiness. We do it especially do it in Chinese New Year.
That's really interesting. I like that. It's multi-dimensional language.
Yeah, I got one here. And also, we got a really nice decoration at the garden. You know, garden is a very authentic Chinese garden. Every material is shaped from China. When you enter the garden, you feel that, oh, probably I'm in China. It's like a Chinese garden moved from China to Vancouver. So every Chinese New Year, we decorate the garden with a lot of red lanterns and also like wishing trees. And the garden is so pretty and it's in such a warm and festive atmosphere. So that's the garden.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to come over for a visit. I do love visiting the garden, and this does look like a very special time of year to come visit.
Yeah, and then you can join our New Year celebration.
Great. What are some of the events that you have coming up there?
We have events actually this weekend. We got New Year market, we got line dancing, and also we got some events next weekend. Like we got wishing trees, we got opera, and also we got poem competition. We got a ton of, really fun events for the public. And
okay, great.
Also people can check our website.
Yeah, so you are a cultural specialist. So what is it actually that your role there at the garden?
Yeah, I actually, for sure, I'm promoting traditional Chinese culture because I was born and grew up in China, so in Beijing actually. So I'm very proud of my culture and I'd like to share it with people here. And also I'm in charge of garden's tea ceremony because tea is part of traditional Chinese culture. I have been practicing tea ceremony for a decade. So that's my passion and I'd like to share it with people here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Lillian, for sharing your passion. I know that you wanted to share us some greetings, and obviously there's food associated with it. We love the food aspect of it. Yes,
that's Chinese New Year Eve. That's most important time with your family. Yeah. It's like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner here in Western world. So for Chinese New Year Eve, no matter how far you are from your home, you should get back to your home to get a family reunion. And there are a ton of actually homemade food. And sometimes I feel it's impossible to eat all of them. And I got a very small family of 3 members, and my parents will make probably a dozen of dishes on the table. And I got so stuffed, and I couldn't stand up. Yeah. So you can see the picture.
I bet. Yeah, there's a lot of food there.
Yeah, that's the food. And must have food for sure. It's dumplings. And the dumplings actually, all the family, we are making dumplings together. That's part of the New Year Eve activities. We make the dumplings together and then we enjoy them together. You can tell the shape of the dumpling. It's like the gold, I put there because in ancient time, our gold, the shape is like this. So the dumplings, that means bring you prosperity, bring a lot of money, good luck. So dumplings, no matter what feelings is, always, good for Chinese New Year.
Yes.
That's the dumplings. Very yummy. And also firecrackers and the fireworks, because we think that gave you a lot of festive feeling. So especially kids, they love that. And also the clothes. And, always wear something in red clothes. If you got traditional style, like I'm wearing today, that will be perfect. Or if you don't, get some red hoodies, red t-shirt, or red jackets. So that's for Chinese New Year clothes. And try to avoid white and black, which is for funeral color. So try to avoid that. Also, red socks is must have. That's for Chinese New Year. You should wear the red socks. And this is actually very, very traditional style. They got the Chinese character happiness there, and they got a character of a little guy, which means when you wear the sock, it's at the bottom of the sock. So that means you stamp out the bad guys.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, in the coming year, then nobody can bother you, give you trouble. And I got one here, so I'll show you later.
Wonderful. Well, Lillian, as we go through, I think there was like something on your last slide that I wanted to end off in, and that is some of the sayings that you say during Lunar New Year. Could you maybe teach us some of those sayings that we can all practice?
The sayings are here because during the Chinese New Year, probably you want to say some good words to your friends and to a relative. So first one is 新年快乐, which means Happy New Year. Yeah, literally means 新年 means New Year. 快乐 means happy. So yeah, that's the sequence is a little bit from English. 新年快乐. And the second one, actually, that's very popular, and it's 恭喜发财. I think a lot of people here, they can speak it, and because they talk it to me, 恭喜发财 during the New Year.
Yeah.
Hope you get rich. Probably we Chinese, we too much love money. So every time we greet each other, we say 恭喜发财, hope you get rich. And the last one is 万事如意. That means may all your wishes be fulfilled. 万事如意. So that's the three most popular greetings during Chinese New Year. And when you meet any friends from China, so that will be perfect to use them.
Okay, this is wonderful. Hopefully we can all take these and practice some of these. Lillian, thank you so much for joining us on Ask an Astronomer. We've only got a few more minutes. If you want to put up some of the other events that you have there at the gardens, I can know that we have a few space-related questions that we can bring Marley back in here. Of course, if you have any questions for Lillian, you can put those into the chat as well. So just to go back, Marley, you were talking about the moon and some of the discoveries that the U2 rover was making around new rocks. So what ideas are they theorizing about the source and development of those new rocks?
So the excitement over the new rocks comes from not knowing entirely how, like, the history of the moon, the planetary, like the evolution of our moon. Don't fully understand how it works or why it looks the way it does. And so what was interesting is that the new basaltic rock it found was in a location that had been recently impacted. And so it hadn't been mixed up with other debris. And so when it gets impacted, you get all that, material that's further below. And that is typically younger or material that happened earlier on in the moon's evolutionary history. And so finding that type of rock led them to conclude that it probably formed in like a large magma ocean when the moon was still cooling down, and kind of opens up more questions about the moon's evolutionary history. So that's why it was so exciting to find.
Okay, we got another one in as well from Damien. So we did talk about a little bit about the moon going around the Earth and being tidally locked. So Damien asks, can a planet with a horizontal axis be tidally locked? And can one of the poles of that planet face its parent star throughout its orbit? I love the thinking through this. So Marley, can that be possible?
Like, okay, I don't know, like 100% the answer, but off the bat, I want to say no. If it's oriented and it's moving also this way, I'm getting like, if you're in a physics class, you have like anyways, they know what this means if you did physics. It, you know, it's moving and it's rotating this way and its pole is facing the star. And will that be tidally locked as it's? I don't think so. I think it would experience, like any of the tidal movement would create a wobble in the axis that may prevent it from tidally locking. So only the pole having the side. I don't know. It's also hard for me to envision it, but off the bat, I say no, but I'm open to contradiction. It could happen. I'm not sure.
Yes, I love that everyone knows that it's ever taken a physics class. Everyone knows what
Yes.
this means. Maybe we'll
The
talk
right
about
hand
it.
rule. No.
We'll talk about that in the next episode. But Lillian, thank you so much for joining us on Ask an Astronomer. It was an honor to have you. Hopefully we will be over to the Dr. Sun Yat-Sen Garden soon and celebrate Chinese New Year with you, the Year of the Tiger. Do you have any last questions for Marley? Do you have any curiosities about the moon for Marley, Lillian?
No, I just want to share our happiness, joy, and harmonious with everyone, and welcome to the garden to celebrate Chinese New Year with us.
All right, everyone. And with that, we will see you again right here on YouTube in 2 weeks. That would be February the 17th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Until then,